Yuhan R&D Institute is a dynamic pharmaceutical research hub that develops innovative new drugs. Our patient-focused approach to R&D positions Yuhan Corporation as an emerging leader and ideal international partner in the global pharmaceutical marketplace. In addition to creating quality pharmaceuticals, Yuhan scientists study the cutting-edge platform technologies that help create tomorrow's breakthrough medicines.
건강한 혈행을 위한 오메가3 프로메가, 건조한 눈, 기억력 개선까지 프로메가.
건강도 프로답게 관리하세요.
프로가 선택한 오메가3 프로메가.
종근당 건강.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to be here and to share our experience and our thought about R&D program. And as all we know, the R&D program is a very challenging program. It's a long journey, and from drug candidate all the way to clinical trial. And during the discovery phase, we identify a drug target and optimize the drug target and became we call drug candidate or clinical candidate. Then through the preclinical work, and we characterize the drug candidate and further and moving to clinical. So this is a very long journey. Sometimes could take 2 to 3 years or even longer, and with a lot of the the resource. And of course, the preclinical is a key, is a bridge, and from discovery to clinical. And during the preclinical phase, we have a lot of to do, and this also is a regulated area, which means you have to do the study according to the regulation and to meet the requirement for drug safety and drug the characterization. So what I'm going to talk about today is how we could help from WuXi AppTec, helping the client to making the R&D a successful journey. The overall, what we should be considered, So these days, there's a lot of the new technology and new the biotech firms. So everyone wants to discover new drug, want to get drug into the clinical. So the first things we want to ask ourselves is, what should we do? What is the plan for R&D, program? So this is something we should consider first. Okay, and overall understanding of a drug. The drug, what is a small molecule or is a larger molecule or is advanced therapy? And we have a lot of the new technology coming out in the last several years, and many new therapy like gene therapy, cell therapy, CAR-T, etc., and emerging every month. So we need to know your drug very well. According to your drug, we have to follow relevant the guidance from ICH. And what is the indication? So what you want to treat a disease, cancer or non-cancer, right? Well, we need to know all these indication. And what is the mode of action? So how your drug going to cure disease? There is some mechanism, molecular mechanism, target, right? So we need to know all these information. And there is approved drug already in the market or in the clinical trial. And this drug could be providing some information to your drug in terms of R&D plan design. And secondly, we need to think about the clinical plan. You may ask, maybe too early for a clinical plan. No, that's not, never earlier. Actually, it is very important that you have a clinical plan before you start a preclinical work. Because all we do in the non-clinical, preclinical, is supporting your clinical trial. So we need to know the clinical plan, which including what population you're going to use, healthy volunteer or patient population. What is a drug regimen? So you give a drug by oral or by injection? How frequently? Daily or is intermittent, like once every week or once every month. And also, we need to know where you're going to conduct your clinical trial, in the US, China, or elsewhere. Because every country has different rules, different regulation. So we need to know all these details. Also, of course, the last question, when you're going to file your IND. And this is going to helping us to plan your IND study, according to your plan, according to your timeline. So focus today is mainly for preclinical work. But besides these, there's also the CMC, how you're making drug, how you're making the formulation for the patient use, right? So this is just for the preclinical work, including in the R&D plan, pharmacology, DMPK, bioanalysis, toxicology. Pharmacology is all we know, is how drug, the efficacy of a drug. Whether drug is going to be efficacious or not, we need to know through the vivo experiment, to providing the evidence. Convince yourself, okay, my drug works. My drug show the efficacy with data. So we can invest more money, right? DMPK, which is characterize how drug metabolized in the system. You give a drug to the animal or give a drug to a patient, you wonder how drug absorbed, circulated, and metabolized, eventually eliminated from the body. We need to know, right? And third, the bioanalysis, which is when we do all the experiment, we need to analyze the drug. We need to know how drug concentration in the system, right? So that's, the bioanalysis. We need to develop a valid method and validate this method and analyze your sample. Last, not the least, is toxicology, which is all about safety. Because drug safety is the most important for the R&D submission. Because the regulator, they are pay more attention to the safety data. Simply because they want to make sure the drug you give to patient has to be safe. How do you prove safe? You have to do the experiment in the animal study, right? You're providing all the data from the general toxicology study, from a specific toxicology study, and to prove the drug is safe or have enough safety margin. The drug may cause some toxicity. However, you have safety margin. That should be okay. That should be acceptable. So the toxicology will providing safety data. Additionally, toxicology will helping the clinician to design the clinical trial. What's the safety dose? When you do clinical trial, you need to know what's the initial safety dose. This safety dose was based on animal data, right? And also we need to monitoring potential toxicity in the patient, right? And how do you monitor? You need to know what the parameter has been changed during the course of the treatment. So these parameters are going to be your biomarker for your clinical trial. So basic requirement for the preclinical safety, I summarize the two areas. One is adequacy. Second is relevant. What do you do for the preclinical study? Most important has to be adequate. Because we're using animal to project the human safety, there is a species differences. So all you do, you have to make sure your study adequately designed. You have adequate number of animals. You have adequate the dose level you tested. Because you use animal to projecting the human. Use a small sample projecting the human population. There's a lot of risk. So we do this in a very conservative way to guarantee, to ensure we do right, do correctly. So we have to make sure every experiment have to be adequate, including using the 2 species, using enough animal, both gender, and make sure your dose is high enough. And all these actually is a regulation requirement from the FDA, from other countries' regulators. Second, relevant. The animal species, of course, there is a difference between animal and between large animal, small animal versus human, right? So we have to make sure all we does has to be relevant to your human population. So to do that, for the small molecule, we tend to use metabolic profiling to make sure the species we selected has the most profile close to human population, right? And for the larger molecule, due to the like monoclonal antibody, we based on the species relevancy because sometimes the larger molecule antibody is not working in the rodents. So we have to use the larger animal, such as a monkey, to do the experiment. Because the rodents experiment were not providing a relevant information. So actually, the FDA required for larger molecule, for the monoclonal antibody, you have to use a relevant animal. Non-relevant animal study will not be, recommended. So we have to pay attention to that, okay? And also for the age, for different age, sometimes the drug is used for the young age. So we have to use appropriate age of animal to design a study. And the last point, we have to differentiate between the animal-specific toxicity versus toxicity related to the common species, related to the human. Because many times we see the drug is very toxic in animal study. However, this toxicity may not be relevant to human, simply because this is animal-specific. So we have to be aware of these differences. With this, I'm going to introduce WuXi AppTec's WING program. WING program simply stands for WuXi AppTec R&D program, which is the integrated R&D service. We combine all the service within our WuXi testing division, including toxicology, bioanalysis, DMPK, pharmacology, and CMC, and also for dossier preparation and the submission itself. Yeah, we combine all the service WuXi provided into one platform called WING WR&D. So this is one-stop shopping for the client who want to do the R&D, no matter where you go. So specifically, what we offer to our client, it's a very flexible package. So client choose the combination you need or you prefer. You may say, come to us, say, I just want to do pharmacology, DMPK tox, fine. We do the study as we request. And you also want to, okay, I let the WuXi do all the, service, manufacturing, formulation development, pharmacology, DMPK, toxicology, dossier preparation, and submission itself. We do it all. We can do all for you. So it's a flexible package. Second, we have a dedicated project manager helping our client. We have trained many project managers and dedicated to our client's program. They will manage a program from beginning to the end and coordinating all the activity between the divisions and groups. Third, global standard. Every program due at the WuXi, we follow the global standard. Global requirement for GLP, for animal welfare, for all the regulation we follow. So your program will meet global standard. Where you go, if you want submitting US FDA, it's perfect fine. You submitting EMA, that's okay. So we will providing a choice of the filing. You tell us, you say, okay, I want to file US first. Then we provide the English report. And you say, later on, I want to file Chinese FDA. That's perfect fine. We have independent Chinese report for you, and so you can file in China. Also, we have very challenging and compressed timeline for your program. We all know the time is key, is a successful factor. So we try to work out your timeline. Many clients say, okay, I want to have R&D filed by December. Can you do it? We will try. We will try everything we can do and make sure that all the experiment completed, all the document ready for your R&D filing. So for each program, as we say, we have a WING program manager. They help you to managing the program and from beginning to the end, and they coordinating all the activity. They timely reporting all the progress. They working with each function group like toxicology, DMPK, and a study director, and etc. And make sure your program progressed according to your timeline. So where your program will be conducted, we have Shanghai, China, and we have Suzhou, China. Shanghai, China is the headquarters of the new drug development. So welcome everyone to visit Shanghai and WuXi's headquarters. We also have a Suzhou site, which is mainly for toxicology, DMPK facility, and batch analysis. We also have a New Jersey site in Princeton and the Princeton area. And we also have a Nanjing site, which is mainly for radioisotope labeling. So for the timeline, and we have some typical sample share with. This is for small molecule. We divide the two scenarios. One is from the candidate selection, including API process development, manufacturing, formulation development, DMPK tox, and submission. And we need about 9 to 12 months. If you have a test article already you present to us, just need to do DMPK and the safety analysis, we could do in the 6 to 9 months. So this is for small molecule. For larger molecule, we have two scenarios. We have the same from a candidate selection all the way to submission, including API process and your manufacturing and formulation development and analytical development, plus the PK and the toxicology. So we need about 18 to 20 months. If you're presenting us with ready material, we could do within 9 to 12 months. So that's the range we have for our program. This is not hypothetical. This is basically from our past experience. So this is a typical how we coordinating within the WuXi's internal groups. And this is from the PCC, preclinical candidate selection, nomination, and from preclinical work, and all the way to R&D and clinical. And this is department from STA. This is the WuXi's division for manufacture API. ASU is analytical service. BAS is a bioanalysis. ISD, DMPK, which is do the pharmacology study. DMPK do PK study, and tox do toxicology study. And regulatory affair and program management. We also have our new division, which is called WuXi Clinical. They are specialized for helping clients to conduct the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 study. Simply, you done all the preclinical work. You can move on to WuXi Clinical. They help you to do the clinical study either in US or in China. So they actually have representative here to help you answer all the questions you have. So this is basically the diagram, how each division help you. So from STA, they manufacture non-GMP APL, then goes to the BAS and pharmacology, do initial pharmacology study, and the method development and the validation. Then further, the GLP batch, and go to the toxicology, do the safety, to the toxicology study. And then further, they will manufacture the GMP batch for your clinical trial. So they all work together seamlessly. So for the last 4 years, we have done more than 100 programs. The WIN program started 2015. We started 5 programs, then 13 programs in 2016, and 35 2017, and 2018, which last year we have 48 programs. Total, we have done more than 100 programs. So many programs and has been completed and submitted to FDA or Chinese FDA and start a clinical trial. We still have more than 60 programs ongoing. And so within this program, as I say, the program is very flexible in terms of the combination. So we have a 15-week program requiring the dossier preparation and submission. And 18 program require the API manufacturing at WuXi. So it's a very diversified program profile. This is simply a category of a drug. The blue color is a small molecule, and you can see small molecule still is leading the way. And the green color is monoclonal antibody and ADC. And we also have a small portion of the other, like a peptide and the other category of a drug. And this is a submission category, and you can see most as a double submission, which is including FDA and the Chinese FDA, and 41 program. and followed by 35 program submission to FDA, and 14 program to Chinese FDA, which have a new name now called NMPA. So this is the indication for these 100 programs. We have about 50% is for cancer therapy, and followed by CNS, central nervous system disease, and then by infectious disease, metabolic disease. So here I would like to share the 2 successful stories we have done for our global client. This is a small biotech located in the United States in West Coast. They come to us, basically ask us to do API manufacture at the WuXi Biologics, and we did all the preclinical work, PK study and toxicology study. And there are 2 programs, and one is for DR5, the other is for PD-1, L1, and both is for oncology indication. And both program has been approved by FDA and started clinical trial in US in last year. So we done this preclinical work in the 7 months. 7 months. That's actually shorter than the range I give it to you. So this is one successful story. And the second is also a company based in US, and they did it's a small molecule, and they also did quite comprehensive with us. They did the STA manufactured the API for the company, and the PDS, which is WuXi's formulation group, did the clinical formulation for the company. And we did the tox bass, and the ASU did the analysis. And it is for the central nervous system and for epileptic inhibitor. And we did a study within 7 months, and IND approved in Australia and started clinical trial. So these 2 programs basically showing how WuXi can help small company. And most of our clients actually is small company, small or sometimes virtual company. Some company has only maybe 3 people, So they basically come to WuXi for everything need for R&D program. So that's what we commit ourselves, supporting the small company, supporting the virtual company, and make their dream come to true. So this is the end. I'd like to summarize what we have, and we WING program. We're providing a one-stop shopping, and for our client, and we have a dedicated project manager to supporting for each WING program. We have a good training, the winning record for the R&D submission and approval. And we follow a global standard. We have expertise, experience to how to conduct R&D, how to make R&D program successful. Of course, we have followed the global standard. We have accelerated the timeline for your program. Without that, I'd like to stop here if you have any questions.
So, excuse me, we have a microphone up there, so please use that.
Yeah. Your question is whether could use non-GLP material, right? Non-GMP. You say not?
Yeah, non-GMP materials, is it possible to for use for IND submission?
Yes. Normally, GMP material is designed for clinical trial. For toxicology study, we require called GLP, equivalent to GLP standard, which means you need to have a record, need to have a C of A, which characterize all the the physical chemical properties for your drug. So yes, so that's not necessarily GMP batch, but very highly the developed method. Yeah, and with a record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
아기에게 락토핏 핏핏핏핏 아이들도 락토핏 핏핏핏핏 우리 가족 락토핏
맞춤형 생유산균.
내 몸에 핏 락토핏 종근당 건강.
당신이 밀려오는 두통을 참고 있을 때 당신의 친구들은 밀려오는 음악에 몸을 맡기고 있다.
두통? 참으면 당신만 손해. 참지 말고 즐겨라. 펜잘.